Going to try this again. I always come from a location where the internet is a little unstable, and I don't know what it is about this library that I'm in, but sometimes the internet is a little fuzzy. So if there's a pause or whatever, please bear with me and stay with me. So today I was thinking about what would be a good topic to discuss, and I could not help but to land on the topic of career climbers and professionals. As you see in the title, it is so important that you take the time to reward yourself. We don't do this enough. If you are in a professional environment that is fast paced, high paced, or if you're in a critical position where so many of the people who work around you rely on you, there's this natural energy that's inside of really a lot of women to give, give, give. And we know innately that we should take the time to reward ourselves for the things that we've accomplished, or just to take a break and relax and celebrate ourselves. But unfortunately, it doesn't happen as often as we would think, or as often as we intend. Being in the lifestyle business with Black Travelers Network, I can honestly say we get calls and emails on a regular basis of women, sisters who are saying like, look, my birthday is going to be that month when you're having that trip. I think it'd be a great idea for me to go on this trip to celebrate my birthday. Or, some people are like, well, it's been a while since I've been out of the country, and this pandemic had me down. I really, really deserve to just celebrate the fact that I'm here, reward myself for still being here. It's people's intent. It's on our minds. But when it comes down to going from thinking to acting and executing, so many of us fall short. And it's not because we don't want to, and it's not because we don't see the importance, but life just kind of happens. And when you're in a very critical space like the corporate America, or when you are a professional that's maybe sought after or in high demand in your professional and career life, then it's just natural to tend to prioritize those types of achievements over prioritizing the achievement that we need to receive, which is rewarding ourselves for still hanging in there and still pushing forward. And so I want to talk very briefly about the things that we should make it a point to reward ourselves in. We're at the end of the year. We have a couple more months before this year is out. So everyone who's watching, you should already be in the planning phase of what you're going to do to reward yourself for next year. But some of the excuses, and not that you even need an excuse, you don't need an excuse, but some people, this is for you. Some of the great excuses you can tell yourself is, of course, big accomplishments. If you had a goal this year and you exceeded your goal, or you matched your goal, you definitely need to reward yourself. You have to provide yourselves with incentives to continue going. And I actually recommend too, for those of you who are in the goal setting phase for next year, along with setting your goal, I feel like you should always include what you're going to do once you achieve that goal to reward and celebrate your achievement. So make it a point to incorporate that as a part of your plan whenever you're goal setting, especially for next year, okay? So big accomplishments, achieving goals Also, milestones. You know, our trip to Kenya this year was so amazing. We're going to do it again next year in July. So if you're interested in that, definitely come. But what was so great about the experience we had in Kenya was we had two very beautiful married couples who came as a celebration of their union. I believe one couple was celebrating their 7-year wedding anniversary, and another couple was celebrating their 20th anniversary, somewhere in there. And so Kenya was the trip that they rewarded themselves for having stayed in their union and made it work and continuing to work at it. It was just so wonderful to see, you know, two beautiful Black husband and wife couples who decided to take the time and create the resources to invest in their union. Like, that inspired me, just being able to be there and witness and host and deliver that experience to them. So I was so happy that Black Travelers Network was able to do that for these beautiful, beautiful married couples. So milestones like anniversaries, birthdays, those kinds of things, retirements, you know, that's something that I feel like a lot of us kind of don't do so much. Like, there will be retirement parties on people's jobs. But in terms of continuing the party, I mean, to get to an age where you can retire, to last in any kind of career where you have the ability to retire, that is worth celebrating beyond the little office party that most companies will do for their longtime employees or for their retirees, you know. So definitely celebrate those milestones. Also, motivation. Motivation, for me, one of the things that I would so oftentimes feel when I was in the corporate and professional space is I felt like I would get caught in a rut every now and again, right? And so many of you who are watching may be at that point in your career, or maybe at some point you experienced that. But I remember being at points and moments in my career where I just felt like, you know, I'm doing the same thing over and over. This is no longer fun. I need something that's going to shake me, okay? I need to get away or do something fun that's going to motivate me to continue. And so for me, a lot of times that was setting aside the time and the resources to put into something really lavish and luxurious as a way of celebrating myself. So I remember one year I decided to spend like 3 days in like this really, really expensive hotel. I dropped probably close to $2,500, close to $3,000. Here, I believe it was in, I did it once in DC. I also did it once in Los Angeles, where I just dropped the money just to be in a new space, to continue to motivate me, to give me energy, and to just make me feel like what I'd been working for was worth it. And it just motivated me to be able to afford to drop that kind of money in 3-4 days of just luxury lodging. So I say motivation, if you're caught in a rut, that's another great way to reward yourself. And it's also a subtle way that may be an indication that you have not been rewarding yourself enough, that you've probably been going with the flow, you've been caught in the daily grind, and you need to do something that's going to keep you going, that's going to re-energize you and motivate you. And rewards always are great for that. So the last bit that I wanted to share with you is the different types of rewards. Not that you really need a list of different types of rewards, but I definitely like to categorize these kinds of rewards just to expand your mind and your thinking. So as I said before, like for me, one of the great things was staycations. Staycations are great because you can do it locally. You know, you can again set aside a budget. I feel like if you do something local, if you have it in the budget to go a little high in your location or domestically, then do it. If there's a restaurant you always wanted to try, if there's a spa you've always wanted to go to that costs a little bit of money, this is about rewarding yourself. And if you're rewarding yourself, I don't know how people do it cheaply. But then I also understand everyone operates with a different budget in mind. So staycations are great. Oftentimes, the really nice lodging facilities have spas attached to them and great restaurants. So reward yourself with the staycation. That's another cool one. Also, buying yourself gifts. So some of us do this without it being any real reason behind it, and that's okay too. But I always like to kind of date the great gifts that I get for myself and attach it to some type of accomplishment that I've done. So, and maybe I'll do a video on the things that I've bought as a reward to myself, and what I was rewarding myself for. That might be an interesting video because I have some really great cool things that I've done for myself over the years, and you know, it might inspire some of you. A trip. You know, obviously, I'm in the travel and lifestyle space, and so Black Travelers Network, you know, I always tell people we provide trips that focus on the Black experience in different parts of the world. But more than anything, if you are wanting to reward yourself by incorporating travel as your reward, I just recommend, like, don't do it yourself. It's a lot of work, a lot of planning, and a lot of preparation to put together a trip. Even if it's just for you, you got to think of where you're going to be, what time you got to get there, you know, who you're going to work with to make sure you get the most out of everything. You know, this is why Black Travelers Network as a community, as a travel community, travel group is here, so we can do all the heavy lifting. Travel is the best reward you can give to yourself, because all of what I've talked about in terms of, you know, major accomplishments, motivation, celebrating your milestone, that's all wrapped in and can be wrapped into a travel experience, especially a multi-day travel experience. You kind of get to celebrate those different accomplishments over an extended period of time. And the beautiful part about it is you have pictures that capture those moments. And usually, especially with us, it's an unforgettable experience. Anytime you visit a new place for the first time, it can and will be an unforgettable experience. So make sure you make it a point to include travel as a reward, especially for you career climbers and you professionals. I know how that grind gets. I know you can get easily caught up, and not even on purpose. With every real intention of stepping back and rewarding yourself, it is so critical to keep pushing, keep motivating yourself by incorporating rewards. And so I really strongly encourage you to write it as a part of every plan you do, every corporate plan that you turn in to your company, or in some of your cases, your project managers. You always have to identify goals and timelines for you to make and achieve these different metrics. So why not make it a point to incorporate what you're going to do to reward yourself once you achieve that particular goal. So that's all I have for you, ladies and gentlemen. That's all I have for you today. I cannot wait for our next experiences that we have coming up in early 22, 2022. For those of you who know, we are going to Brazil. That is going to be amazing. We will also have a trip to Ghana in 2022 as well as the beautiful Kenya. So don't forget to subscribe to this channel. If you have any questions about any of our travel experiences for 2022, especially if you want to reward yourself with one of them, you can always reach us at blacktravelersnetwork@gmail.com and ask away. So with that being said, until next time.